Hey guys, your binos, they kind of stink. I bet you want some new ones. Vortex binos, guys. You want a set of Vortex binos, we're giving them away. All you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're commenting on the videos. Make sure you're engaging with our videos. We're giving away binos every single month of the season, guys. So if you want free binos, you want some free optics, maybe we switch it up, we do something a little bit different, guys. At the end of the day, if you guys want some free stuff from Vortex, like, comment, subscribe. Top 3 ways to call in rutting bucks, guys. Man, I want to preface this video by saying it depends where you're at. And I want you to realize right now, like, if you're a Michigan guy, if you're a Pennsylvania guy, if you're a Northeast Wisconsin guy, not a Southwest Wisconsin guy, because that hunting's a little bit better done. If you're in a high pressured area, how about that? I don't care what state you're in. I'd be very leery of what equipment you take into the woods with you to call for bucks, especially calling blindly. At the end of the day, guys, if you're a Michigan hunter and you go bang together some 140-inch antlers and a lot of 140-inch deer in the woods, you probably sent them into the next county. And not only that, like, realize how many people are hunting around you. You own a 20, you own a 40. I hate to say it, you only own an 80. It's not a lot of land. It feels like a lot, sometimes it's not. So now if everybody's out on their 80 banging antlers together and calling, probably doing more harm than good. So I'm gonna tell you guys scenarios, kind of how I do it, when I do it, and what strategies I'm using in given scenarios. But I do want you to understand that especially in those high pressured areas and even the low pressured areas, sometimes it's okay to be a fly on the wall. Don't feel the need to go out there and bang the antlers every 30 minutes because a guy on an Iowa manicured farm on a YouTube video told you to, or because he did that. It's probably not the most relatable thing for the deer in your neck of the woods, and it might end up hurting you more than actually helping you. So with that being said, I don't even know if I'm in some of these pressured areas, if I'm ever taking antlers into the woods with me, unless there's just like a scenario in which I'm like, that buck's mature. I know he's pretty aggressive, the way he's working a mock scrape when I got him on camera. Like, I've seen him snort-wheeze at other bucks. I've seen him run off other bucks. He's an aggressive deer. Maybe I chance that. But in those high pressured areas, more likely than not, I'm not going to. But the one thing I will tell you is that everybody, no matter where you're at, no matter what state you're in, the one thing you absolutely need to have with you is that grunt tube. But how do we use that grunt tube, guys? Well, for those of you that are new to the game, I wouldn't necessarily recommend just going out there and just blowing on the damn thing and blind calling is what we call that. You know, you don't have a reason, you're just hoping that you accidentally call something in, you know, because at the end of the day, guys, if you really don't have a lot of awareness of your situation, there's a good chance that that buck might hear you and he might circle downwind and you've educated him and the game is over, the gig is up. Now at least maybe you got to see him, maybe you know he exists, but chances are you kind of ruined your opportunity. I think you can get away with blind calling to a certain extent, but more likely than not, I think it's gonna hurt you, especially on a smart deer. You know, I wouldn't even go as far as saying mature deer, because if you're in a place like Wisconsin and it's a 3-year-old deer, he's had a lot of negative occurrences with humans, and so he's pretty educated. And a grunt tube is probably enough to make him go downwind and probably say, see you later, probably never come back. So have that grunt tube with you, but save it for the scenario in which you put eyes on that buck. The one thing I really want you to focus on, guys, is now you've seen this buck. You've seen the buck of your dreams. You want him to come into range. Do not pull out that grunt tube yet. Let him do his thing naturally. Hopefully you never have to pull out calls. Guys, calls are a secondary option. Let's let them do their thing organically and walk through the woods. But if all of a sudden it's not gonna happen and we are very sure of that, now we pull out those calls. So if you feel like that deer has a chance of coming into range, do not educate him. Chances are you don't blow that grunt call the way that a buck really sounds, and maybe there's just like, there's something that buck would pick up on if you blew it for no damn reason. But if you have to, and now knowing when you have to is the most important part. Let's say that buck isn't coming into range. Pay attention to your scenario. Are you in thick cover? Are you in wide open timber? That is going to dictate when I grunt at this buck. If I am in wide open timber and that buck can do one of these and he can look directly into that direction in which I am calling from, and he will, you wouldn't believe the ability that they have to narrow in on that area in which they hear a sound. If he can look up at your stand, guys, with no obstructions or anything like that, probably still don't pull out that grunt tube. Wait till he crests the ridge. Wait till he crests the hill. Wait till he walks behind a giant clump of brush so that he basically he has to start making a move. Like, let's say he's behind a big clump of brush. he has to move. Like subconsciously, he didn't even realize he moved, but he had to put himself in a position to even look your direction, which means that he's facing your direction, which means that the percentage of that deer coming in your direction is much higher. So now if you're doing it where this buck is in the wide open and he's walking away and he can do one of these, he's not facing you. The percentage of that deer coming in is pretty low because he's still facing away. The whole point of having some sort of obstruction in the way is that these deer have to come and face you and already kind of start engaging you. And at that point, shut up. Put the damn thing away, put it in your pocket, don't keep blowing it. Now, if he's gonna leave and you're very sure he's gonna leave, maybe give him another toot or two. You know what I'm saying? You blow on it a little bit, but don't be sitting there like you're doing more harm than good, guys. So absolutely have a grunt call, but have it for that given scenario where you think he's not gonna come in and it's kind of a, not last ditch effort, but one of the last ditch efforts. Number 2 is those antlers. If you can't help yourself and you're a Michigan or Wisconsin guy and you need to bring those antlers, bring them, but bring them for the scenario in which, you know, that buck crest the ridge and the grunt tube didn't work. Or you know, he's 400 or 500 yards off and you can't get his attention with that grunt tube. That's the scenario in which maybe we start banging some antlers together, but don't be doing it for 3-4 minutes straight. Do it just enough to get his attention, get him to posture, turn in your direction, get him to engage with you, and stop. Now there's a chance that he doesn't engage with you after that. Don't keep banging him. You're doing more harm than good. Take your losses, live to see another day. If you keep banging him and all of a sudden he hightails it and tucks his tail and runs, it's game over. You've kind of given him, you kind of showed him your cards. Now it is the rut, it is the pre-rut, hopefully, and that's when you should be using these tactics, guys. He might be dumb. He might be, you know, he might be so focused on does that he might just pop back up the next day, but I don't want you to pressure this deer more than you have to. So if I had to be honest with you, rattling is one of those things that I'm saving for a last case scenario if he's over the ridge, if he's not coming my way in a high pressured state. That's how I'm using my antlers. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I'm in Missouri and I'm in Iowa and I'm in Illinois and I'm in Kentucky and I'm in Ohio, we're probably banging them antlers together maybe once every hour. The reality of the situation is most times you're gonna pull in inferior bucks. And if you're okay with them coming into the area and kind of maybe getting your scent or kind of risking a little bit, that's fine. Realize the percentage of you getting a mature buck to come in from that isn't great, but it's also not impossible. So if you're in one of those lower pressured states where, you know, you got big chunks of land or you feel like you're the only guy out on the public land and you want to bang those antlers together every once in a while, I don't think it's a terrible idea to at least get a deer to come check out what's going on. Once again, I would make sure I'm set up in these areas in which I have good thick cover, because if he can look across the ridge, if he can look across the field for 200, 300, 400 yards, oh, there's not much to intrigue him to come your way. He kind of already figured out nothing's over there, doesn't really have to. The good old snort-wheeze. That is the last call that I like to use in my arsenal, and I'll be honest, I say last. There's a good chance that I'm probably even using it in certain states before I use the rattling antlers, mostly because I don't carry rattling antlers in a state like where I'm hunting in Wisconsin, where there's low deer density, or if I'm hunting in northern Michigan, I don't carry antlers, and then I will probably throw the snort-wheeze out there, you know, before rattling. Snort-wheeze is another one of those things that I use for long-range calling. I make sure to use it on certain specific deer that I am more familiar with. Now, if you're a public land guy, you got to wing it sometimes. I understand that. But there are certain deer that I have had on camera, and I pick up on their mannerisms, and I pick up on the scenarios in which I've visualized and seen these deer fighting other bucks, pushing other bucks off, pushing bucks around, and I know that I can piss this guy off, and I can say, hey, I'm in your territory now. These are my does, and that's basically what you're saying to him when you snort-wheeze at a buck, guys. So knowing your deer, it would be a little bit more beneficial when using this. But worst case scenario, it's kind of one of those things where if he's off in the distance and the grunt tube is not working, or he just doesn't care about it, and you know he's a little bit more mature deer maybe, but more so an aggressive deer. He's hitting scrapes, he's working licking branches, he's getting his antlers stuck up in the leaves, guys, and then he gets just out of sight. Dropping that snort-wheeze on him is not a bad idea to get him to once again turn around and engage with you. That is the whole point of these calling strategies, guys. You need to get him to turn and almost acknowledge your direction. Because if he can just stand there and he can look back, or he doesn't have to turn his body, chances of him coming your way are not great. Half the battle is won if you can get him to turn your way. And he's gonna have to turn your way if you're strategic about how you use any single one of these calls. If he's facing another direction, or if he's behind a brush pile, behind a tree to a certain extent, or over the ridge completely where he has to engage and come back. At the end of the day, guys, there are different times in which you need to use different calling strategies, but the main point of all of these is you want to get that buck to engage with you. If he's even slightly coming in your direction, lay off. Wait till he's out of sight. Wait till he can't see you any longer, guys. So at the end of the day, guys, I think it's important to always have a grunt call with you. Use your rattling antlers sparingly, know where you're at, but don't be afraid also to be, throwing out that snort-wheeze as a last case scenario if it means that you think you can pull that buck back into range, guys. So at the end of the day, those are my top 3 calling strategies for big bucks.